South Dales Parishes are very rural, and we have just completed our celebration of harvest with its popular mix of traditional hymns, offering of gifts, and of course the great harvest suppers. The popularity of the harvest festival, beyond the ranks of ordinary churchgoers, has a lot to do with the wide general resonance of its themes of blessing, thanksgiving, and not least in the 21st century, the almost universal concern we all have about the exploitation and destruction of the environment and our fears of food security and food safety. Perhaps also the appeal of Harvest Festival is the possibility of using the occasion for charitable giving. Traditionally, offerings of fresh, home-grown produce to be distributed among the elderly and needy. Good though this is in principle, it should be remembered that Christian giving is about offering of our whole selves to God, who has given us everything. He doesn't just want the fruits of our freezers and larders, but looks with much greater approval on the fruits of our lives dedicated to his service. We are celebrating this Thoughts for the Day this morning in the parish of Somersall Herbert, and the theme of our harvest here a couple of weeks ago has been the problems we all encounter with prosperity. Harvest is the best opportunity we have as Christian leaders to raise awareness of global and developing world issues and to advocate a Christian lifestyle in our present society. A lifestyle that is based on gratitude and praise of God rather than on exploitation, greed, self-indulgence, or motivated by an overwhelming need to consume at any cost. The spiritual danger of wealth is amnesia. Those whose lives are measured by the desire to consume have bad memories. They forget. They forget to thank God who created the world and blessed it. They forget where they come from. They forget the times when their lives weren't as prosperous as they are now. And above all, they forget to keep God's commandments, to care for the world and those who live at its margins. The need to remember the goodness of God and to remember his care for the world is of course a theme in the Old Testament book of Deuteronomy, where we read these words. Remember the long way that the Lord your God has led you these 40 years in the wilderness. Take care that you do not forget the Lord your God by failing to keep his commandments and his ordinances and his statutes. Even in these economically challenging times, we live in a world where there is great prosperity. In recent years, there have been some encouraging moves towards eliminating poverty through the great work of media stars, comedians, and sports personalities. Suddenly, concern for those who don't share in our prosperity has become cool. And we are particularly minded today how the folly of human warfare can all but cancel out all our good efforts and laudable intentions, as whole nations and regions can slip so effortlessly into a cycle of eye for eye hate and retaliation, plunging the young and old alike again into a cycle of poverty. At this harvest time, let us not forget to remember prosperity can be a blessing, but greed never is. A good harvest celebration should not glorify consumption. It should remind us that God is the source of all our blessings. It should remind us where we come from and the times when we had very little. Above all, a good harvest celebration reminds us to live in obedience to God's commandments, especially the ones that require us to care for those less fortunate than ourselves. I'm very fortunate to have an illustration of this, and Fiona is going to lead us in the story of Cecil the caterpillar.
Okay. Cecil was a caterpillar, and Cecil was my friend. When I saw Cecil, he was that big. I said, "Cecil, what have you done?" He said, "I've eaten a whole cabbage leaf." Cecil was a caterpillar, and Cecil was my friend. When I saw Cecil, he was that big. I said, "Cecil, what have you done?" He said, "I've eaten a whole cabbage." Cecil was a caterpillar, and Cecil was my friend. When I saw Cecil, he was that big. I said, "Cecil, what have you done?" He said, "I've eaten a whole row of cabbages." Cecil was a caterpillar, and Cecil was my friend. When I saw Cecil, he was that big. I said, "Cecil, what have you done?" He said, "I've eaten a whole cabbage patch." Cecil was a caterpillar, and Cecil was my friend. When I saw Cecil, he was that big. I said, "Cecil, what have you done?" He said, "I was sick."
Thank you for watching, and our final prayer. Lord of life, we recognize again your goodness. We remember once more how fortunate we are, and we celebrate the bountiful provision of your creation. Gladly we come with thankful hearts and joyful worship, but remembering those who, through human folly and greed, do not share in your bounty. In the name of Christ, we make our prayer. Amen.
Amen.